Mr. Jeff, is it Becker? Jeff Becker?
Yes, I'm Dr. Jeff Becker, professor of microbiology, University of Tennessee, and I live at Crest Hill Drive in West Knoxville, and I'm president of the Knoxville Jewish Federation. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today. The rights of all citizens are precious and must be protected. This is the basis of our great nation, state, and city. The Jewish people know full well that each right removed from any citizen is a threat to all citizens. I wish to read to you a short poem that expresses more eloquently than I the real issue involved in Resolution 121. The Hangman by Maurice Ogden. Into our town the hangman came, smelling of gold and blood and flame, and he paced our bricks with a diffident air and built his frame on the courthouse square. The scaffold stood by the courthouse side, only as wide as the door was wide. The frame is tall, a little more, and the capping sill the courthouse door. And innocent though we were, with dread he passed those eyes of buckshot lead, till one cried, "Hangman, who is he for whom you raised the gallows tree?" Then a twinkle grew in the buckshot eye, and he gave us a riddle instead of reply. "He who serves me best," said he, "shall earn the ropes of the gallows tree." And he stepped down and laid his hand on a man who came from another land. And we breathed again for another's grief. At the hangman's hand was our relief. And the gallows frame on the courthouse lawn by tomorrow's sun would be struck and gone. So we gave him way, and no one spoke, out of respect for the hangman's cloak. The next day's sun looked mildly down on roof and street in our quiet town, and stark and black in the morning air, the gallows tree on the courthouse square. And we cried, "Hangman, have you not done yesterday with the alien one?" Then we fell silent and stood amazed. Oh, not for him the gallows raised. He laughed a laugh, and he looked at us. "Did you think I'd gone to all this fuss to hang one man? That's a thing I do to stretch a rope when the rope is new." Then one cried murder, and another cried shame. And into our midst the hangman came, to that man's place. "Do you hold," said he, "with him that was meant for the gallows tree?" And he laid his hand on that one's arm, and we shrank back in quick alarm. And we gave him way, and no one spoke, out of fear of his hangman's cloak. That night we saw with dread surprise the hangman's scaffold had grown in size, fed by the blood beneath the chute. The gallows tree had taken root, now as wide and a little more than the steps that led to the courthouse door, as tall as a writing, or nearly as tall, halfway up the courthouse wall. 5 and 6, and we cried again, "Hangman, hangman, is this the man?" "It's a trick," he said, "that the hangmen know, for easing the trap when the trap swings slow." And so we ceased and asked no more, and the hangman tallied his bloody score, and sun by sun and night by night the gallows grew by monstrous height. The wings of the scaffold opened wide till they covered the square from side to side, and the monster crossbeam looking down cast its shadow across the town. When through the town the hangman came and called in the empty streets my name, and I looked at the gallows soaring tall and thought, there is no one left at all for hanging. So he calls to me to help pull down the gallows tree. And I went out with right good hope to the hangman's tree and the hangman's rope. He smiled at me as I came down to the courthouse square through the silent town, and supple and stretched in his busy hand was the yellow twist of the hempen strand. And he whistled his tune as he tried the trap, and it sprang down with a ready snap. And then with a smile of awful command he laid his hand upon my hand. "You tricked me, hangman," I shouted then, "that your scaffold was built for other men. And I no henchman of yours," I cried. "You lied to me, hangman." Then a twinkle grew in the buckshot eye. "Lied to you? Tricked you?" he said. "Not I. For I answered straight, and I told you true. The scaffold was raised for none but you. For who has served me faithfully than you with a coward's hope?" said he. "And where are the others that might have stood side by side in the common good?" "Dead," I whispered. "And amiably murdered," the hangman corrected me. "First the alien, then the Jew. I did no more than you let me do. Beneath the beam that blocked the sky, none had stood so alone as I. And the hangman strapped me, and no voice there cried, 'Stay,' for me in the empty square." I urge you to vote against Resolution 121.
Thank you, sir.